Desmond Wilson said that it is the act of forgiveness that opens up the only possible way to think creatively about the future at all. The act of forgiveness. Forgiveness is so powerful, more powerful than most of us realize. But right now, that's what we need to talk about. Because I'm willing to bet that you still have some forgiving to do of yourself. Anyone who's procrastinated long term, who's experienced delay day after day, and the regret that comes day after day, and the belief that maybe tomorrow will be better, but then again, more regret because you talk yourself out of taking action. You know the opportunities that you've missed. You know that maybe while other people are getting ahead, people that seem like they're no more talented than you are, you're still treading water in the same place, or maybe sinking. You start to have this shame for yourself, this doubt, this questioning of worthiness. Am I flawed? How could I have done this to myself for so long? All these things are only hurting you. All these things can be left behind, can be set down. You have the power. You have the ability. We just need to talk about now how to do that. This is self-forgiveness. Self-acceptance of what's happened, what you've been in the past, and letting that stay there in the past, being okay with it, not loving it, but being okay with it and at peace with it so you can move on. Because if you do not set it down and keep it here, then it will only affect you negatively and hinder you from becoming, really becoming the person you want to be. Not just pretending to be or spending a few days or weeks trying on the new person, but embodying, stepping into your ideal self, day after day, more so, leaving behind in the past the self that you have been. And it's okay that you were that self. We don't have to judge it. We can just leave it behind and say farewell. So forgiveness. Forgiveness, as Desmond Wilson said, is what allows us to then think and act creatively, to create, really take that word, create your new self. You are crafting your new self through this program. You are day by day, minute by minute even, with each decision, you are chipping away and creating this new masterpiece self, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, socially, in all that you do. That's why we're here. And it can be a lot of fun, even though it can be a lot of work. So to start, have you forgiven yourself? Seriously, ask yourself, have you forgiven yourself truly, 100%, for the mistakes you made in the past, for the missed opportunities, for the squandered relationships, for all the times that you were just lazy, that you were just didn't make the right decision? Have you forgiven yourself? Have you really let that stay there? Set it down? And do you accept what happened? Again, you don't have to love it. You don't have to be proud of all your screw-ups. Man, I was such a piece of crap sometimes. No, it happened. But the thing is, if you carry it with you now and into the future, and you dwell on it and have that feeling of regret and those thoughts of regret, well, you're filling up your brain with problems that are long gone. And now, instead of just hurting you in the past, it's actually hurting you a couple 100% more, because it hurt you in the past already. Now it's hurting you in the present, and by hurting your present, it's necessarily hurting your future. So if you want to take your present and mold your future into the way you really want and can have it, you have to be willing to leave your past mistakes in the past and accept that they happened. Move past the regret. The regret isn't going to change anything. You can't go back in time. You can go forward in time. That's the only way we can move in time. You cannot alter the past, but you will necessarily, for better or for worse, alter the future. That is the power you have. You cannot change the past. You must and you have no option but to change the future. Remember, you are condemned to be free. You will make decisions, and those decisions will have an impact on you, your environment, everyone around you, now and in the future. So, do you choose to leave the past in the past, your old self, your old ways back then, cut them off, drop them, so that you can pick up and mold and become and create the new you, the you want to be and you can be? It's so exciting, guys. Be freaking excited for this. This is an opportunity a lot of people never realize, even though we all have it. There's a famous story, maybe you've heard of, parable of two monks walking in the forest. And these monks had taken a vow of chastity, meaning that they couldn't have any sexual relations with a woman or even touch a woman. They come to a river, and there's a woman there who's trying to cross but feels she can't get across. It's too deep. One of the monks takes her and picks her up and carries her across the river. Sets her down. The two monks go on their way. Now, the second monk was noticeably rattled, seemed a bit upset. Didn't say anything though, so they walk on. About an hour later, the second monk, still increasingly upset, turned and said, "Brother, we took a vow of chastity, but how could you touch that woman? How could you pick her up and touch her? She's a woman." The first monk looked at him and peacefully said, "Brother, I set her down on the riverbank an hour ago. You are still carrying her." That's a perfect example of our own mental baggage. We can set it down and walk on lighter and freer, or we can carry it, strap it to ourselves, pile it up on our backs, and make ourselves pack mules of hurt and anger and self-loathing and self-pitying. But that doesn't get you anywhere. That just makes every future step harder. So the question is, now, can you choose to forgive yourself? Look at yourself, pretend you're someone you love, a friend who has wronged you. Could you forgive them? Someone you really loved. Could you forgive them, see that they're human? It was an honest mistake. They didn't really want to hurt you. Just like you in the past didn't really want to hurt yourself. You made some mistakes. You missed some opportunities. Your friend wants to mend the relationship and is committed to being the best friend, most supportive possible. Will you be able to forgive them? Of course. You are that friend. You need to be your best friend to you, to yourself. And right now, by being here, you are saying, I want to be the best to me that I've ever been before. I want to mend that relationship like never before. Be there day in and day out to support. Now, forgive yourself. Tell yourself it's okay. What you did, it's okay. It's done. We're moving on. The best days are ahead. Now, the other side of this, the next step is loving yourself. I don't mean like in a woo-woo, hippie, sort of way. I mean genuinely feeling good and appreciating who you are, having compassion for yourself. Again, we use the metaphor, if you were talking to a friend, someone you or a family member, your partner, someone you deeply, deeply care about and love, and they've made some mistakes, how would you talk to them? Now they're ready, they're fixing it all. How would you talk to them? What would you say to them? You'd love them, you'd support them regardless. So why do we talk down to ourselves? We're the one person that we're always going to have with us. Shouldn't we be the best, most respectful and supportive to that person of all? Of course. So my action step for you today is write a letter to your previous self in all of its forms. Everything it's done, good and bad. Let it be an honest letter, free flow. What you liked, what you didn't like, but especially those things you didn't like and the mistakes you made, and maybe even consciously you did things you don't like and you don't want to do again. Acknowledge that it happened. Accept that it's happened, it's done. But then say goodbye to that self. Say, You have to leave. You have to move on. You have to go. We can't hang out right now. Wish you well. I want you to write an honest letter. Let out the anger, but then if you have it still, be honest about how you feel, and then end with the forgiveness. You have to end with forgiveness, because the forgiveness, anyone who's ever really forgiven knows that the irony is forgiveness is more about helping yourself, and you get more result from it as the forgiver than even the person who is forgiven. You are the one that gets to set down all the baggage and the frustration and clear up your mind to focus on the future and the present and take positive action instead of looking backwards in the rearview mirror at all the junk back there. Forgiveness is as much, if not more, for the person doing the forgiving as it is for the forgiven. So forgive your past self and leave it there. This is a break. This is a new start. Now, you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to be flawless from here on out. Don't expect that. But you're going to be a lot different. Step by step. Maybe it's going to happen real quickly. Maybe it's going to be a build-up process. But either way, you have complete control to make this happen. Step by step, action by action, like we said. Every moment is a chance for a choice. Do you take the high road or the low road? Do you take the easy path or the right path? Every moment is full of those choices. That is how you craft your new, better, best self. But you have to leave the old one behind. Simple as that. So write that letter. And after you've written it, I challenge you to destroy it. Burn it, tear it up. Leave it in the past. Just like your old self, don't even carry it with you. This is all about setting yourself up to love yourself in a genuine, realistic way. Feel that self-compassion. Research has shown unequivocally that getting down on yourself, beating yourself up, demotivates you, gives you fewer results, stresses you out more. Nothing good really happens from it. It doesn't build us up or charge us up long term. It frustrates us. But honestly, appreciating yourself, enjoying yourself for all the good things you have, that's motivating. That's going to build you up, charge you up, fire you up, give you clarity, keep you on your values. You know, you're all you got. So enjoy you. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. This is the beginning of the new self, the new you. Go do it.